Many Republicans have stuck with Donald Trump following last January 6th and are in fact embracing his lies, seemingly as the core of their political ideology and identity. And this is nowhere more true than in those who are running to become secretaries of state in states around the country. NPR has found 15 different Republicans who've denied or cast doubts on the 2020 election results, running to be the chief election officer in 12 different states, including 6 of the 7 states that Biden had his slimmest victory margins in, which means that if they win, the attempts in 2020 to overturn at the individual state level or altogether at the federal level election results, that didn't work in 2020 because they didn't have the right people. They are putting those people in every election in the interim. And I want to give you some examples of those provided by NPR. So in Georgia, they have 2. Jody Hice objected to the certification in Congress on January 6th. She's Trump endorsed. So she literally tried to overturn the election federally and now might be in charge of Georgia's election for the next one. She might not actually win the primary, but she might be beat by David Bell Isle, who himself believed that Georgia's results shouldn't be certified. So they're duking it out to be the one who stops democracy in Georgia. That's fun. In Arizona, you have State Representative Mark Fincham, who attended the Stop the Steal rallies in January. Like, he was literally there. Spoke of election fraud in Virginia before that state's governor's race. He's Trump endorsed. So again, initially Trump was saying those people at the rallies are Antifa or BLM. They're not Republicans. But if it turns out that some of them are Republicans, they have my endorsement. But again, he might not win, but he might lose to Shauna Balk, who introduced a bill that would give legislators the power to overturn an election. So just overturn the whole thing. And then that way, you don't even need to have the Secretary of State's office. If you just have the majority in the legislature, you can do it. In Nevada, Jim Marchant says that the 2020 election was stolen from him too, by the way. He ran for something and he lost. So he was robbed, Trump was robbed. And these are all incredibly important states. Like, they want to make it impossible for them to lose these critical states. And I'm not saying that getting these secretaries of state is the only thing you need to do, but they are doing this work. In this last year, where the Democrats are mostly just sitting by and watching what happens, Republicans are suppressing the vote, they're stopping mail-in ballots, and they're also taking control of county elections boards as well as secretaries of state positions, Anna.
Yeah, the GOP has been incredibly organized, not just on the issue of voter suppression and the erosion of our democracy, but they've been organized for decades in ensuring that our judicial system is just completely filled with conservative activist judges. And we're not seeing similar activity on the left, which is concerning. We're not seeing it on a local level, and we're not seeing it on a federal level in response to the very voter suppression that they themselves talk about. They talk about it in their campaigns, they talk about it in their press conferences, they talk about how much of a threat it is in their social media activity, so they understand the threat. But they refuse to do the work necessary to respond to it. They refuse to engage in the fight necessary to defeat the behavior that we're seeing on the right. Yeah. And that's the thing that really concerns me, right? Oftentimes we get criticism for being too critical of the left or being too critical of the Democratic Party. But the fact of the matter is, Republicans tell us who they are every day. They're transparent about it. Whereas Democrats position themselves as the individuals who are poised to fight back against the Republican Party, but they don't do it. They don't do it. They present themselves as something that does not bear, that doesn't actually play out in real life. And that's what frustrates me the most about the Democratic Party. They're the ones we're supposed to turn to as the individuals who are supposed to protect our democracy and fight back, but they're not fighting back.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And we were alluding to that earlier, that we can maybe get the speech out of them. And there's certainly some Democrats that want to pass a bill, but never a critical mass, which is always the way that it seems to work out on so many of these different issues. So yeah, those are the Republicans. The ones who are critical of him are being weeded out, and those who have nothing to offer and don't even try to offer anything other than Trump got stolen and also let's go Brandon, they're gonna be doing quite well in these elections. So they will soon be in positions of power. Imagine if it hadn't been Raffensperger at that point. And by the way, he's gone crazy in his own way in relation to elections since then, but he did the right thing in Georgia back in 2020. Well, next time it won't be him. It'll be one of these crazies.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.